What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Undrafted and Overconfident Podcast on a Monday, November 3rd, 2025.
Mark this date.
Probably going to be the most important date you ever remember.
Yes, at least the most important date in podcast history.
No doubt. It is our very first published episode.
Yeah, first published, yeah.
I'm Jason Semko. With me, Brandon Go Gordon.
The one and only.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Some would say.
Maybe a few.
Yeah, just a few.
But this is super exciting, Brandon. It is our first episode. We have been talking about doing this for probably close to 20 years.
I mean, not the toot our own horns, but we're not the only ones that have been talking about it. Like, every time you and I get together and have one of our quintessential tete-a-tetes, duking it out over conversations, all of our friends are like, you need to do this. So we finally listened to reason. We finally decided, listen, now's the time. We're pushing 40, prime of our lives, obviously. So now is the time. Not 20 years earlier when podcasts were just starting to come out. We're like, now that it's saturated, now that the market's just overrun.
That's right when
this is the moment for us. This is our time to shine.
I feel like it's striking while the iron's hot.
Yes. Yeah, striking
right?
While the iron's hot, or lukewarm, or tepid, or just on its way out and rusted. But yeah, we'll go with while the iron's hot.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this.
That's the end of the world. Yeah, that's it. That's all we need.
Maybe our friends will listen. They might stop after 2 or 3 episodes.
I doubt it. They just love hearing us talk. They love the sounds of these smooth baritones just emanating through their speakers.
And they really don't have anything else to do.
No.
Where they couldn't fit in an hour to an hour and 15-minute podcast.
I mean, my concern is, what are they doing while they're listening?
We could almost take some bets on that.
I don't know if I want to. I don't want to go down that very dark road of what are they doing while they're watching or listening to us.
I'm sure they're going to let us know, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We won't have to ask.
Which I can't wait for. Well, Brandon, I think real quick, how did we get together? How are we together doing this?
I mean, the legend, as legend tells it, Jason Semko, you were a part of a budding but not quite there flag football league in our college days, the forever known, forever accomplished Tri-Pi, and you just couldn't get over that edge, couldn't get over to the hump, couldn't beat the big dogs, and you needed a few ringers on your team. And lo and behold, your savior, Bigo, and his squad of just ragtag ragamuffins.
Ragamuffins is not the word I would
use. Okay, you can choose your own superlative, but we came onto the field. We gave you that little extra juice. I had a few very timely sacks, I might say, at the time. And I think your words were like, who are these guys? Who is that strapping 6-foot mountain of a man just owning the field out there, manning every corner?
I think I was saying that about Will Whitaker and Chris Hunter.
How dare you? They were pieces. They were cogs, but I was the heart and soul.
I will give you that. I will say you all were very intimidating. You all played defense. We were on offense. And you all would roll up about a minute before kickoff.
Yep, that's about
every single time. Roll up like 20 deep, but not all of you would play. But You'd always roll up and ball your asses off. Gave up what felt like maybe 3 touchdowns all year.
All year, yeah.
And then game over and didn't say anything to any one of us and just left. But came back every week.
Every week we were the Allen Iverson of flag football. It's like, we didn't practice. Now what's practice? We come for game time, we show up, we do our thing, and then we just go home and, the debauchery begins. We loved hanging our hat on, okay, we're part of a winning squad. Like, they got it on offense, and let's not disregard your eminence over here, the king of quarterback flag football in Christopher Newport University, our alma mater.
Alma mater.
But yeah, we were like, you handle offense. Don't worry. We're not going to let anybody score on us. We got the defense.
And so it was odd because that first year, I really didn't know who any of you guys were.
No.
But we still somehow won a championship. I think the only words I remember ever saying to you was in the championship game, and I was not playing well, and we just weren't scoring touchdowns and turnover on downs and giving the other team the ball. And I would apologize when I came off the field saying, sorry, basically, can you pick me up again and stop them? And you did every time, and we eventually won the game. But that was about all I said to you.
I mean, that was kind of false advertising because when I first met you, I was like, this guy's so humble and so apologetic. And now that I know you, I was like, that's not Semco at all. Like, who was that guy?
Now that you know me.
But no, yeah, you had been carrying us all year playing offense. I was like, everybody needs to pick me up every now and then. We were happy to be that. That was when the friendship was forged. It started growing after that. And people came, people went. We stood fast, 20 years strong, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we quickly realized that we not only love playing sports, love talking it, and it seemed like we differed on opinions on just about everything. Which made it great fodder for friends and made it highly entertaining to kind of get the blood boiling on the other.
Yeah, it was entertaining for us too. There were times where we went a little bit over the edge. There were quite a few fisticuffs.
Yes.
We'll get into that in some of the later episodes of some of our feats of strength and situations where we were, it boiled over from conversation to a little bit more aggressive in nature.
Oh yeah, you get those college kids with a little bit of that liquid courage, testosterone. Mm-hmm. It could just be the simplest sports conversation. It could turn pretty violent.
Well, I remember a particular Super Bowl where I barely remember half of it because you and I were literally wrestling all around my apartment. Clothes on, I think, but I mean that part's hazy.
To start, I don't know. Woke up.
Scattered, tattered, all that stuff. Yeah, no, that was good times. No, but yeah, we've known each other for 20 years. Arguing the entire 20 years that we've known each other, and we love getting under each other's skin, which is why this podcast will probably have legs.
Agreed. Well, on that note, I think maybe we should jump on in to our first topic. Much as the Halloween season has ended, we're kind of hitting fall. That means World Series over, but what a great World Series it was.
It was.
I personally was happy that the Dodgers came out victorious.
It's just disappointing.
I mean, Shohei Ohtani got on base 9 times in one game. That guy needs to win as many rings as possible to go down as the greatest.
I mean, isn't he already going to go down as the greatest? Rings or not, he's already gotten 2. Once you've gotten 1, I feel like that might be your last hurdle. You could have all the stats in the world, but if you don't have a ring, then people are always like, well, he wasn't the best. But now that he's got not 1 but 2 in a row, I think that he doesn't need any more. Let's not get greedy, all right? He's already a two-way player, one of a kind in that regard. He's already had his legacy moments in the playoffs, but I don't need to crown more rings on a dynasty.
But this year he did it pitching. Last year he didn't. So they were able to win with him pitching.
That's true. He helped. He wasn't great in that Game 7 pitching.
Unfortunately, Bo Bichette took him
yard.
Yeah, that was a no-doubter. But he gave him a couple innings.
I mean, I know you. You wanted nothing else than to watch him go 7 deep, 10 strikeouts.
Oh, no doubt.
2 or 3 bombs.
Yeah.
And then your pants would have been off for the rest of the night.
I mean, they still were.
Okay.
I mean, watching that team, watching Blake Snell get out there and throw Yamamoto.
Yeah.
No days rest.
Yeah. It's Game 7, man. You throw everything. You caution to the wind.
We thought Madison Bumgarner was a horse.
See, that's where I'll draw the line. A lot of what we're going to talk about is, were these the greatest playoffs of all time? Was this the greatest World Series of all time? And went 7. Game 7 went extra innings. Extra ball. Game 7. Any moment could be the defining moment. And is it the greatest World Series ever? You've got David and Goliath. You got a Toronto team that was dead last year and went all the way to first.
Coach Snyder isn't going to like that David versus Goliath comparison.
That's fine.
He shot that down pretty quick.
Yes. Well, I mean, he didn't want to be painted in that light, but sorry, that's what you were. All right.
It's true. I mean, the Dodgers are, other than the Yankees, they are the top spending team, and consistently, they're the new evil empire.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And I rooted for them.
You did. You're part of the problem. You just love seeing just...
Greatness? Yes, you're right.
No, not greatness. You just love seeing big bucks win the big wins. That's what you love seeing.
It doesn't always guarantee a victory,
root the underdog. You don't want to root for the guy that's just, picking him up by his bootstraps and just picking up the lunch pail and all the other analogies you want to throw in there.
Not when Shohei Ohtani is on the other team, and he's going to just show us how great he is.
All right, so Shohei wasn't on that team. would you still have been so diehard for the Dodge?
I probably would have been rooting for Vlad. I'm not the biggest Blue Jays fan. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of their players anyways. But I would have liked to have seen Vlad win. But I probably would have been rooting for them a little bit more.
Vlad's got time now. He just got his big contract, so he's got time.
They might be back. You never know.
It's hard. It's hard to get back.
The Royals got back.
They did.
And won it all.
Not the second one where, again, my Royals did win it all, but the previous series, I would argue that might have been one of the greatest World Series of all time because you had those singular performances. Bumgarner, as much as I hate to admit it, I mean, he was just a mountain among men in that series where he just would pitch on no rest. They brought him in every vital moment in that series. It went 7, and it could have been a play at the plate in Game 7. Could have been a play at the plate.
He still should have gone.
I know. Believe me, I have this conversation every Thanksgiving, every Christmas when I see him. It's like, why didn't you run through that? Why didn't you run through that stop sign? For better or worse, you get thrown out, that's still a moment in history that will never be forgotten. Thrown out last out of the game. But if he had made it to tie the game up, that would have been incredible.
Let's let everyone know, who exactly are you talking to at Thanksgiving and Christmas about running through a stop sign at third base?
Well, the baseball heads already know. The ones that are true baseball lifers are aware of this amazing moment and this amazing player. I'm talking about...
They're probably not listening to this
first
podcast.
Cousin. They will eventually. This will be an archive, and they'll come pull it back. But first cousin, dad's side, blood of my blood, Mr. Alex Gordon, king of KC before Mahomes came into town. Yeah, he's part of the fam.
That's actually really, really cool.
Thank you. That might be the first time you've ever admitted that.
It kind of is, and it'll probably be the last nice thing I say about him and you, because he wasn't really that good. He played okay defense.
You're right. He was a 15-year pro in Major League Baseball. He
played in Kansas City. They had 3 really good years, and he barely made it on the field as a hitter. Thankfully, he was a decent defender on the worst position.
Gold gloves might be a little differentiator there.
Left field, he made like 2 good plays.
Gold gloves are gold glove, baby. They don't just hand those out.
They kind of do sometimes.
For pitchers, I feel like I don't know how they decide which pitcher gets a gold glove. How do you decide that?
Greg Maddux won 18 or something like that. I got to believe at some point in time there was a pitcher that was a better defender than him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, it's just like I feel like the sports writers or whoever make that vote, they're just like, I don't know any of these guys. I'm just going to pick Greg Maddux because I know the guy. And he's nice to us.
And then they also probably wanted to be a part of greatness, so they just said, yeah, I want to see some guy win every year. Which is kind of what happened to Alex Gordon.
How dare you?
Come on, man.
So you're calling him greatness? They wanted to see greatness, so they gave it to Alex Gordon. Is that what you were saying? That is what you're saying.
When you win that many because baseball writers keep voting for you, I guess in the record book you do see it, but I argue it. I didn't see much defense out of him.
I mean, there are numerous web gems that would say that he deserves every one of those.
I'm thinking of 2. And then the worst part is because he'd won a Gold Glove. Every time he left his feet, made a dive, jumped for a ball, oh my God, look at the Gold Glover, Alex Gordon in left field. He made a routine catch that the guys today make every single day.
See, this is the overconfidence shining through. And we always like to joke around that the name of our podcast is based on Semco, Undrafted, and Bigo, Overconfident. But this is one of those overconfidence moments for you where I know you're at home eating your cheese doodles, watching the game, and they make a play, and you're like, I could have done that.
I do. And when I see something that I can't do, I think that's the greatest thing ever. But yeah, I mean, I can dive for a ball. I can dive in front of me and scoop up a ball.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Well, yeah, those days are way past.
Yeah.
Hamstrings will not let me go more than 20 yards at half speed.
Your half speed is still my full speed easily. So let's just put it in perspective.
But in my heyday, some of those plays those guys make, I'm like, yeah, I could have made that. No problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Back to the game. Are you ready to watch a three-peat?
No, I'm absolutely not. I could not be rooting more for, I don't know, player animosity, backbiting in the clubhouse, just, Shohei deciding he wants to play basketball for a year, whatever. I do not want to see the Dodgers again. I don't want to see him for the next 5 years, let alone next year. I know that that's a impossibility. They're going to be there because, again, they're just going to keep stroking checks to whoever wants them. And they're like, we're going to make you the third highest paid first baseman, but you're going to be on the bench for the most of the time until Freddie Freeman gets hurt. Because they have that deep of pockets. They can do whatever they want because they just can. 95% of the rest of the league can't do what they do. And so they're just left with the scraps. And they're like, we just have to piece together a team that can just get into the playoffs just from, spit, blood, and good old gumption. And that's it. So, no, I'm not looking for a three-peat. I'll always be rooting against them. Now, I might hedge my bets, emotional hedge. I might bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series next year so that I can make a little bit of money out of my pain and misery. But no, three-peats, no thank you very much. The worst.
When was the last three-peat? I think it was like the Reds in the 70s. Don't you want to see something that hasn't been done in like 50 years?
No, because even I get tired of the monotony of the same teams over again. Same reason, like...
You rooted against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, didn't you?
I rooted against that Super Bowl, period. I didn't want to see the Chiefs-Eagles again. I've seen that book. I don't want to read that book again.
Two best teams go through a playoffs and make it. Why don't you want to see the two best teams playing against each other?
Because it's boring. I've seen these players before. I've seen what they can do. Now, again, the outcome was very different than the first.
Let's just be real about this last Super Bowl. You were just bitter because your team threw up an egg in the NFC Championship game.
No.
And you really wanted to see Jaden Daniels in the Super Bowl.
Of course I want to see Jaden Daniels in the Super Bowl,
Get
but
smashed by the Chiefs.
Where were the Steelers for all of this? Where was your team while we were fighting for the NFC Championship game?
I think our yearly first round playoff loss.
I think at that point in time, Tomlin was in
Bermuda.
Kauai doing ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers trying to get him to come to the Steelers. That's where he was.
I would have loved to have seen Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin doing ayahuasca together.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah.
But Tomlin seems like the type where that would have no effect on him. He would still somehow come out just doing shop talk, talking football the whole time.
He really
just
would.
Coach talk the entire time.
Aaron would be in his own little world, singing Kumbaya
He'd be like, come in my
meadow.
Come in my meadow. This is where we're free. The flowers are all yellow and green.
And Tomlin's giving some motivational speech and talking 3-4 defense.
He's like, what diva wide receiver can I pick up next? That's what he's thinking about. That's what his trip is. But no, I'm not ready for a three-peat. I know that you're on the other side of this. I know that you love seeing what you deem as greatness. I see as buying your team.
Change the rules.
I'm all for it.
I am too. But look, I'm a big European soccer fan. And that's what these clubs do. You root for some of them. You don't root for the other ones. It's the same thing. You either like some of the teams that spend and spend and spend and have guys on their bench for half the season that other teams they could be starters on. That's the way that it is in the Major League Baseball right now. I want to root for that.
Well, the other reason it's never going to change is because Major League Baseball may never admit it, but they want to see those big market teams in those games.
No doubt. It was like last year. I mean, the Dodgers-Yankees just had more buzz as a World Series because it's those two teams playing against each other.
Two big markets, East versus West. Everybody like those, New Yorkers and those LA divas, they don't get along. So it was a great pick your side type thing. But for me, I was like, I don't even want to watch this because I don't want either of these teams to win.
It was harder to watch than this one. I will say that. I'm glad the Dodgers at least beat the Yankees. And I wouldn't have been mad if the Blue Jays had won. I thought it was I'm not going to call it the greatest World Series I'd ever seen. What
makes it not the greatest view? I think it's personally because there were just, again, there weren't those defining moments. Yeah, you had the Freddie Freeman home run and extras, but it just didn't have that pulsating energy that I feel like you'd see in some of the greatest series.
I think the Rangers-Cardinals, the David Freese.
Yeah.
Game 6 and sending it to the Game 7. I think that had some bigger moments. And I know this is going to be some bias. We both grew up in the Northern Virginia, D.C. area. Mm-hmm. That Nationals-Astros series, the road team won every game.
Every game.
How crazy the city was, D.C. area, after the Nats went into Houston, won those 2 games. And then where it went when they lost 3 in a row. And then to go back out there to Houston and take those other 2. I mean, there were some good games, and Strasburg and Scherzer pitched great.
Yeah.
But kind of being there to witness that, you felt that. that just came across as a great World Series. But yeah, I think the David Freese Cardinals, they were literally down to their last strike, I think, and he uncorks like a game-winning homer.
Yeah.
And that was a good series all around. I mean, this one is definitely up there.
At least in recent memory.
But I do want to ask you one thing, because you
Okay.
actually mentioned Shohei playing basketball. Is he the greatest athlete of all time?
I have trouble putting any baseball player in as the greatest athlete of all time. And I'm saying that as a baseball player at heart. I played baseball all throughout my younger years, all the way through high school, and I loved it. It was my favorite sport playing. Knowing that a guy like with a body like Jim Thomey's in the freaking Hall of Fame, it does make you be like, man, are they the best athletes? It's kind of tough. And the other thing that kills that argument for any baseball player to say that they're the best competitor is when you got guys that are pros in other sports just come in and just are good immediately. You look at Deion Sanders and he's like, all right, I'm immediately good at baseball. Bo Jackson, I'm immediately good at baseball.
I would disagree.
Okay.
It is so hard to hit a baseball.
It is. But I feel like that's a very acute skill. Like, I don't know if I can count that as athleticism, as it is just focus and determination and practice. But as far as sheer athleticism, I can't give it to Shohei.
So you looking at it as more the athletics behind the feet, not the fact that this guy, it's hard enough to make a professional sports league, Major League Baseball. He has a chance every time he comes out to start a season to win the MVP and a Cy Young.
I'll tell you what, if he does that, then I will crown him as the best athlete.
I think the fact that he has a chance at doing both whenever he goes out there is absolutely astonishing.
No, yeah, it is. I mean, he's a unicorn. He truly is. He's something that we've never seen before. You could argue at his level we never will. We'll probably see more two-way players cropping up in the next 10 years because people always emanate what they want to be, and they see Ohtani on the big screen, and they want to be Ohtani. So they're going to be like, I can pitch, I can hit, I'm going to do both. We're not going to see it at his level again. So I can argue that you could argue with me that he's the best athlete in baseball of all time. But again, you're not going to put him in front of like Bo Jackson for me. You're not. You're not going to put him in front of, and like, can't say I love the guy now, but Deion Sanders. When Ohtani goes in and is in the starting five for, I don't care if it's the freaking Washington Wizards, then sure, I'll put him in that Mount Rushmore. But as of right now, he's just barely chiseling his way into the Mount Rushmore of best.
I bet you he'd
athletes
be a
in
good
baseball.
3-and-D guy. I bet you he's got a good jumper.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
He's an athlete.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
got deceptive speed. I think he's a little quicker than you think. Bet you he's got a silky smooth shot.
So you put, as far as better athlete, you're going to put him over your boy, LeBron James.
I haven't seen LeBron do anything else. I will say I think basketball players make the best athletes to transition to other sports. Being at that level, I mean, it'd be cool. Okay, Travis Hunter, right? He might be an okay wide receiver, an okay cornerback. That's athletic as hell. But to be elite, Bo Jackson might have been the closest thing. You know, Deion was not a really good baseball player. And I don't want to sell Brian Jordan short either. He did both. Played for the Braves and the Falcons.
Yeah.
And he was okay at both. But man, to be a superstar at both, I find that pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Bo Jackson and Shohei go toe-to-toe for me. But Bo, I don't know, was ever going to be able to like win an MVP, lead a team. I mean, Shohei had a 50-50 season.
That's in this time. If Willie Henderson had the ability to get the leads that these guys are able to get with the pitch count or the pitch clock, as well as like you can only throw over twice.
Yeah, that is true.
It's more prevalent now. It's like Acuna had a 50 steal, 40? Was it 40-50 that he hit?
I think it might have been 40-60.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of numbs Ohtani's greatness because somebody else did something very, very similar to him. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, he stole 70 bases a year ago?
Yeah, but he's not driving in 100+. He's not hitting 50 home runs. And he's also not going out there and throwing
smoke.
six. Yeah. Now, I would say this, maybe to counter your argument, and Ellie's a good example. I was thinking of O'Neal Cruz.
Of course you were a Pirates fan.
Well, he was entertaining for the first 60 days of the season. Then he struck out every other time. But do you think if you really thought about it, could those guys be really good pitchers? I mean, they throw about 100. Could you then, that could be an argument against mine, that maybe if you just had these other guys actually try to do it, that they could do it.
For me, the argument is it harder to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, or is it harder to throw one accurately down the plate as an unhittable pitch?
And to not have major league hitters just smash it out of there.
Like an unhittable pitch. Yeah, absolutely.
That would be interesting to see if one of these guys decides, kind of do like a Rick Ankiel. Go, we've seen guys go the other way.
Yeah, but he did it because he was broken. He's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't pitch. I'm broken.
O'Neal Cruz swings at every curveball and doesn't come close.
So you wanted to go be the ace of the Pirates staff now? He's like, forget about this shortstop stuff.
Not the ace.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Yes, because you already have an ace.
Paul Skeens.
Yes, a smoking hot girlfriend. Livy Dunn.
Livy? Okay.
You tried to do this last time. You tried to call her Olivia. You're already trying to fancy her up. Her name's Livy. All right?
I like Olivia Doon.
Oh, jeez. You're just trying to just nails on a chalkboard right now.
Is it working?
No.
Oh.
I won't let you do it.
All right.
Not this early in the podcast, all right? I mean, Ohtani, you could put him out there. I don't know if he has enough longevity. It's like this guy could blow out his elbow again, never pitch again, and then it's a smaller sample size. I mean, it's still an incredible feat that what he did, but I'm not ready to crown him as the greatest athlete of all time.
Well, in 3 to 4 years, when we do this episode, our 2000th episode.
Wow, how many of these are we cranking out every year? My God.
Okay, it'd be more like 200.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds a little bit more.
We'll bring this topic back up again.
We will. We'll see where he's at.
But it was a great ending to a baseball season. I look forward to kind of following it a little bit more when the next season starts up.
It's not the only ending that we've seen, Simcoe, because a lot of college football coaches have seen their ending come very, very quickly. The speed of this is crazy. James Franklin's got to be so proud of himself. He's like, I was a trendsetter. I mean, I was doing this before it was cool.
Yeah, this is getting absolutely insane at this point.
I don't know if I've ever seen so many high-profiles coaches in college football lose their job in the middle of the season.
To what end, though? What are you going to do the rest of the season? Why couldn't you have just had this guy coach? Was it that bad?
Nowadays, the recruiting trail is all year round, and the transfer portal is all year round, and they want to be able to get a guy in, or at least have somebody tagged, or at least have the vision of where they're going, instead of waiting until the end of the season, because they need to do a real quick turnaround and be like, hey, we need the portal's open, we got to go. You got to pick back up on the recruiting trail, and you got to go, and you just have to keep moving.
But they don't know who the coach is going to be, these kids.
They don't. And the more of these firings, the less qualified coaches. There's going to be 3 or 4 of these high-profile teams. They're going to be like, we made a huge mistake. We should have waited a year, because now the Auburns of the world, the Florida, which in any other year would be the top coaching gig available, it's maybe 5th available right now.
And how are these schools, like you said, how are they going to get top quality coaches to go to all these schools?
I mean, they're going to turn over every rock. They're going to bring every old fogey out of retirement. Nick Saban's going to get a job. I don't know.
Urban Meyer's going to get a job.
Urban Meyer's definitely getting a job. Somebody's going to make a huge mistake and just see all these people get their dance partners, and it's hitting midnight, and I got nobody to take home with me. It's last call. It is last call at the bar, and all I see are just 2s and 3s, but I'd rather grab a 2 or 3 than go home alone. And they're going to grab somebody just grasping at straws. It's not going to be a good fit. They're just going to be like, well, the analytics say that this guy is good in this, or he's really good on the recruiting trail. And it's like, well, he did it at SMU, so he can definitely do it at LSU.
Yeah, Scott Frost did it at Central Florida. He can easily do it at Nebraska.
You would think. Would think.
Alas, that worked out just how I was hoping.
Just how you were hoping. Not how I was hoping, but just how you were hoping.
A huge letdown, a huge disappointment.
A big old dookie on the chest, absolutely.
We'll see. I don't know. Well, if I'm Nick Saban, I know people have linked him to LSU a little bit. I wouldn't even touch that job if you've got the governor of the state trying to make decisions.
What a mess. Turnabout's fair play, and it's like these politicians talking to NBA players, just dribble the ball. Just go govern. Don't worry about what we're doing over here. Just because you're within your office is within 5 miles of our campus doesn't make you. He's like one of those guys in high school that goes back to high school after he's graduated, and he's like, man, I remember walking through these halls, and yeah, how's everything going? You guys still streaking down the quad? And everyone's like, who the fuck is this old geezer?
Get this loser out of here.
That is what it's like. Just stop. And I understand firing the AD because, again, he was in charge of getting Jimbo Fisher over at Texas A&M. Swing and a miss. The Brian Kelly hire, still hilarious because this is one thing that you and I can agree on. That was a terrible hire the minute we saw it happen. The minute he put on that fake Louisiana accent.
Okay. That moment, yes. The hiring, he had done really well at Notre Dame. And the knock sometimes with him, though, was you just can't quite recruit the same players to Notre Dame that you can in these schools. So the thought was, well, if he goes to this school, and that's the problem. I actually don't think the AD did really anything wrong, if I'm being honest. Why would Brian Kelly leave Notre Dame? You're only going to have to pay him a boatload of money, and he'd come off of, he's been to like one national championship. You're LSU. The pressure for you to go get somebody like that, that's a thing to do. Texas A&M, Texas A&M has paid $50 million for its football team this year. $50 million.
Where's Texas A&M getting all this goddamn money?
Oil, I guess.
Yeah.
Boosters. So Jimbo Fisher wins a national title at Florida State under the Nick Saban tutelage. Texas A&M throws money at everybody. Yeah, to get Jimbo Fisher to leave Florida State, where he could have been better than Bobby Bowden, maybe, you're going to have to pay the guy. And that's what Texas A&M wants.
Well, I wonder, like, you bring up Jimbo and you bring up Brian Kelly, and I wonder if internally they saw the writing on the wall. I'm never going to peak higher than I'm at right now. And if I'm going to get out and I'm going to get that bag, even if it's in a more pressure cooker environment, I'm going to get paid. And my legacy at this school will stay intact.
Oh, no doubt.
Jimbo Fisher's probably still a legend if he ever goes back to Florida State. If he ever goes back, they're like, hey, you got us a freaking championship. We don't worry about how you nosedive the Texas A&M. We're not Texas A&M. We don't care about that. We love that you brought us a championship. Also in the situations, I mean, maybe not so much with Brian Kelly because his quarterback was Sam Hartman. Still damn good looking, but not a great quarterback.
Not a great quarterback.
The Jimbo Fisher, it's like you are tethered, and we're going to talk about Dabo hopefully in this segment as well. They go as their star quarterbacks go.
I hate to agree with you.
Oh, you do.
I really do. But yes, I mean, if Nussmeier wasn't hyped up to be some great national championship winning quarterback, Brian Kelly would still have his job.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell was at Texas A&M, but the fact that we don't know probably goes to show that, yeah, Jimbo can only do what you can do with what you're given.
Yep.
I don't know if you can blame that AD from LSU, but so much why you wouldn't keep him after you've lost. Yeah, you lost 3 games. You lost 3 games to ranked teams, and that Texas A&M team, good.
Yeah. I know you're starting to get horny for them Aggies.
Marcel Reed. There's anyone that reminds me of myself out there.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
It's Marcel Reed.
Here's the comparisons again. Marcel Reed.
He has a better throwing motion than I do.
Oh, just the motion, not the accuracy or the cannon. It's just the motion that...
Yeah, I'm just going with the motion.
Yes.
But boy, is he cat quick out there. Mm-hmm. But no, that's a good team. Defensively, they're so good. I almost wonder if they had only lost by 14, if he'd still have his job. But they got embarrassed by like 30 plus.
Yeah.
But what are they going to do now? Now you've got the governor involved. Who's going to want to coach that team?
Nobody. I mean, not nobody. Like, you're going to get somebody that's just going to dump a big, cartoonish bag of money with a $ painted on, and they're like, just do it.
And so then what happens then when that coach starts doing really well? Maybe they have 2 good seasons, which would be, by the way, with probably Brian Kelly's players.
Texas A&M. Their coach could be one that's on the move. Elko's buzzing around. Everybody loves Elko. Is he going to be willing to leave to go to one of these technically, arguably, higher profile teams? The LSUs of the world, the Floridas of the world.
Not if you win a national title this year. And you're spending that kind of money?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to say no when you know you've got that kind of reserves waiting for you. You're like, I'm wanting for nothing here.
If I was Elko, you're already established, you're already going to be a proven winner. Why would you go to schools that just fired their coaches midway through a season. It's not going to be a good precedent for other coaches to go there unless they want to just get paid.
I swear, again, hubris and ego gets in mind, and I feel some of these coaches, they just feel like cock of the walk. Yeah, it's like my shit don't stink, and it's like I'm impervious to what
these
happens.
guys can't do it, but I know I can.
I know.
Let me show you how much better I am. Yeah, probably. Time will tell, but yeah, of these 5 schools, and about to be 6, if you want to go on and talk about Dabo, because I know he's your boy.
No, man. Dabo. I mean, he should have gotten out while the getting was good. I mean, if you look at Clemson's record the last 5 years, ever since they won that national championship, it's been a slow decline, and then it just cratered this year.
Yet they always seem to get a preseason hype. This Cade Klubnik guy.
Yeah.
Then they got that DJ Ugala whatever.
Ugala, yeah.
Who went to 4 other schools and still couldn't be a good
how did that guy have so many red shirts? How are you still playing? I feel like he was in the league for 7 years.
I think if you're the number 1 recruit in the nation, I guess you just get waivers.
You just get rubber stamps. You're like, all right, just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big name. I want you to be good. We'll throw every
I don't know
waiver.
about big name. He's a long name. He's got a very long name. I don't know if I call him a big name.
In those circles, and once again, if you're just hyped up as this recruit, even if you've stunk in 3 other places, someone's still going to take you.
But I mean, like, again, back to Dabo, he goes along lines with like goes as his quarterback goes, and he had quite the run. He had Taj Boyd, he had Deshaun Watson, and then he had Trevor Lawrence, and then he had your boy DJ Klubnik, and then there's another scrub in there somewhere. And as those quarterbacks came in, that faltered. And the other thing, and I told you this earlier, is that the question with Clemson is that was it Dabo or was it his coordinators? Like Brent Venables, when they won the national championship, he was putting out the best defense in the country.
No doubt. Once
he leaves, you slowly start to see those players that maybe he recruited graduating and phasing out. And now it's all on Dabo. And then I know you saw the clip of Dabo going into his defensive players, and they could not look less impressed. They're just like, where's my tablet? I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore.
They've no doubt checked out. I think they've checked out on him. Wants to be this old school guy that doesn't want to go out and use NIL money. I know, and he doesn't want to. And I think these players are realizing, man, we are just not where we need to be right now.
Well, we talk about it in professional sports, but it's got to be even more so with college. The people that you recruited, if you've lost them and you've lost the locker room, what are you still doing here? You're a dead man walking. He might as well just hang it up. And I think the only reason Clemson hasn't is one, again, huge buyout. I think it's upwards above $50 million for Dabo. And then 2, Clemson's probably looking at the optics and they're like, there's so many big schools out there. We just need to hang on for Dabo and we'll get the next coaching cycle and we'll try again next year.
Might as well. Or there's somehow, some of these colleges are so in tune with themselves that it's like the fact that Dabo had all that success when Clemson...
You think he's impervious? He's untouchable? Because, I mean, Clemson didn't have any... It's not like they were like a perennial natty contender before Dabo got there. So maybe he does. Maybe he has the key, the golden ticket where he's like, hey, I got you in natty, so I have a lifetime pass, ups and downs and everything in between.
I mean, when you're the only guy that's really giving Nick Saban fits... I think that goes a long way at a school like that.
But, I mean, you're talking about a team that was in the national championship conversation for 4 or 5 years. Now they can't even win the ACC.
That is an awful conference. If you're hanging your hat on Miami to try to come through.
That's it. It's Miami and then it's everybody else.
Maybe Clemson just is not going to go after winning a national title like we would think they would. Maybe they just think that a guy like Dabo Swinney, he could pull it together and they're going to get it done. I mean, not every school in these conferences, especially if you've not really been a traditional blue blood, is going to chase that all the time.
Well, speaking of traditional blue bloods, let's move on to my team and my coach, who is staunchly staying put with Matt Rhule signing his extension with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now, I have 2 sides of the coin of this conversation. Believe me, there's 2 sides of this. I will enjoy just savoring all that talk about Rhule's going to Penn State. It's already a done deal. He knows the AD. They're butt buddies. They're hanging out on the weekends drinking wine coolers.
Who said that?
That was all you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was, in your subconscious, but you were thinking it. But the sheer fact that we had the extension pretty much said, nope, he's not for sale. He's not leaving.
Well, after that Minnesota game,
okay,
I think we might have made a good choice.
Right. And that's the other side of it. I was like, I don't know why we extended a guy that can't win against a ranked opponent, and almost worse, can't win in November.
And the fact to me is, first, you just lost your 5-star recruit quarterback.
Done.
The only reason that he's there is because he's the son of a former Nebraska Cornhusker football player.
Hey, we'll take it as we can get right now.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it gets any better.
By the way, has my boy Raiola, has he gotten the nickname? If not, I'm coining it on this podcast. How is he not called
Roundtree Raiola? I don't know.
Roundtree Raiola? No. I was going to say, instead of Mahomes, Faux Holmes, like a fake Mahomes.
I can actually get on board with
Right,
that.
you can get on board
because he tries way too hard.
It's a little desperate. It looks a little desperate. And this is coming from a Nebraska fan. I'm saying, like, I get it. It's great to do your best to try and be just like one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league now and maybe ever. I can appreciate that. But when you start doing the same little, like, dainty finger, like, wave overs, and when you start
waddles
the same,
like him.
yeah, he does the little power walk with his shoulders and everything. I'm like, okay, now you're feeding into the rage that people have for you trying to be Mahomes.
It's not bringing in any new Nebraska football fans. I can tell you that
because
much.
we're old school. We're farm boys, and we just like seeing the hot
old
noise
school would be
around.
running the option again.
Yeah, with the big 350 O lineman just shoving people around. Those days are gone. But with Rhule not gone, sticking around, I mean, you got Penn State just blindly just feeling around, just like Sandusky in a locker room, just feeling around with his eyes closed.
I was wondering how many episodes it would get
It's
to.
one. It's episode 1.
Episode 1, minute 47.
We did it. You got past the first 30 minutes. I think that's an accomplishment.
I'm proud
in
of
itself.
you. I'm proud of you for
But
lasting.
you got Penn State now looking around. Well, that was our odds on. Now we got nothing. You got Florida. You got LSU. Who else you got in the top 5 college football openings right now?
Well, you got Auburn.
Do you have Auburn in there?
Yeah, Auburn can always be. They'll spend. They want to be really good. So that is a top job, being at Auburn.
Can I tell you something that annoys me? A little sidebar about Auburn. War Eagle, Tiger. Make up your fucking mind. What are you? Why do you have to have 2? Well, that's just being extra. You're like, we're the War Eagle and we're the Tigers. Pick one. And I would go War Eagle. There's enough Tigers out there. Just retire the Tigers. Just be War Eagle.
Auburn War Eagle?
Yeah. Doesn't even have to be plural. War Eagles? No.
Like you said, there's
War
way
Eagle.
too many Tigers.
Way too many Tigers. Way too many Death Valleys, too. I'm tired of Death Valley. It is funny that there's Death Valley, and then there's like Happy Valley. Oh, let's come play at Happy Valley.
And that has a weird connotation when you say it like that and with the history.
Come on
Not
out to Happy.
so
It's
happy.
like you'll come happy. You might not leave happy, but you'll come happy.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, so you got Auburn, Florida. You got Penn State, and obviously you got LSU. Do you see another high-profile position opening? Or maybe, being a homer, is Virginia Tech just on the top 5, just barely, just top 5?
Almost any other school that fires their coach at this point is going to enter the top 5 over Virginia Tech. Let's not kid ourselves. Shane Beamer might go there, which could really elevate them.
I mean, it would. You've got the name.
He's close to possibly getting fired at South Carolina.
That's right. Yeah, they just fired their OC, didn't they?
They did. That was basically either you go or your OC goes.
That's never good.
Especially Penn State now. I think you just go with like a coordinator from like a top Big Ten school.
So you're talking about pulling like the OC from Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Or pulling the OC from Oregon or Alabama. Your boys over there with DeBoer.
Go get someone from Texas or someone from the SEC, but don't get a retread.
You don't want to pulling out Urban Meyer. Man, that would make me so happy, but I don't think anything would piss you off more than if you went out and got Urban Meyer.
Would not be a Penn State fan till he's gone. I could not root for that program. Oh, but you asked earlier of like what other team could be in there. Miami. I mean, they lose 2 more games. That coach is getting fired.
Really?
At this point in time?
Going from top...
Well, that's the thing. These schools that have such a high... If Texas were going to lose more games, I wouldn't be surprised if Sarkisian was on the hot seat. If you're hyped preseason and you disappoint, it now seems like that is all you need to do to get the axe. Don't be preseason ranked number 1.
Yeah, that's the death blow. You don't want to be that. It's like, we'll be 2. We'll be 2. So
Well,
if we fall...
Penn State was 2.
Nobody, yeah. No, that's true. So let's get out Semco's crystal ball right now. Of those, we'll say the 5. I'll put Virginia Tech in there because we know that's an opening right now. And because we're kind of local to, Virginia Tech for the most part. Get the crystal ball out. Give me the coaches that are going to these schools. And let's look back on November 3rd. How many did Semco get right?
Penn State probably goes with that Manny Diaz.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Virginia Tech gets Shane Beamer. I think LSU, I can't remember his name, but goes and gets the Tulane head coach.
Really? You think LSU, arguably the biggest opening out there, is going to go after the Tulane head coach?
I do. He's well-liked in the state, in Louisiana, has a little bit of a leg up with some of that recruiting. Florida, I think Florida goes a coordinator route from like the SEC or tries to grab some. I'd be hard-pressed to think they'd go after like a head coach at like a mid-major. I have no idea who Auburn's going to get. I take it back. Auburn goes the coordinator route. Florida goes and gets Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I was about to say, how are you leaving Lane Kiffin out of this? He's like the belle of the ball. He's the guy that, he's the girl that all the guys want to date right now. Oh my God. He's the biggest, and he's relishing at this, especially after his just implosions at Tennessee and at USC and everywhere else. He's finally this sought after coaching commodity. He's relishing this.
He has to be.
And the only reason he wouldn't take it is because he's worried that the shine will come off. And that's the only reason. But I think that Lane's going to take the LSU job. I just think that he looks at it as an opportunity to have, again, a state that has very minimal in-state argument for where they're going to go. You get the top.
That's true.
The top talent in Louisiana is going to LSU. That's not even a question. It doesn't matter who the freaking coach is. I think that I agree with you that I think Manny's going to go to Penn State. I could see Florida trying to roll the red carpet for Lane, not getting him and then panicking and doing something crazy. And I'm talking about go out and get James Franklin crazy. I could see them doing that. My heart of hearts, I'm hoping that James Franklin goes slumming and he goes to Virginia Tech. That is what my dream scenario will be. So I'm going to hold out hope for that. Manny Diaz to Penn State. Let's throw Dan Mullen in at Auburn.
Oh my gosh, how many chances is he going to get?
He's going to keep getting them.
He shouldn't. He really shouldn't.
And then I could see Florida missing out on Lane. I could see them going the coordinator route. So I do agree with you in that. I do think that they're going to be like, okay, we lost the big name, and if we go out and get the second big name or the third big name, we're going to almost feed into we're lesser than LSU. So we'd rather spin it as we got the hype new, fresh mind, and we're going to go young and like stylized, and we're going to try and go that route. Or they're just going to literally throw a Hail Mary and try and get Elko, but Elko's not going to leave.
I would never leave if I were him, but you never know.
And then again, you think about the extensions. It's like, we talk about Rhule. I really don't think Rhule's going anywhere, but even the extension that the SMU coach took, I don't know if that necessarily makes him immovable. I think it makes it a little bit harder. But I still think if Florida comes a calling with the right kind of bag for the SMU head coach. But I could see, especially after coming off a big win.
If they get back into the playoff again, be 2 years in a row, they get to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Florida would make a move like that. LSU would make a move for that. Actually, that's more of an LSU thing to do. Guy just signed a big extension. You just fired your AD for paying 2 coaches a boatload of money.
You're going to pay a buyout and just pay more?
Yeah.
Yeah, just throw money at the problem.
That's an LSU thing to do.
That is. LSU is ass backwards in so many different ways.
It couldn't be all those stereotypes you want to make about stuff that happens in like the deep south. You got the governor involved who's like, the AD is not going to pick the coach. I'm going to find people.
I'd rather have Trump pick the coach. It's like, why? Why would you even say that?
Now nobody is really going to want to go coach that team unless you pay a lot of money, which is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then in 4 years, you're going to run into the same problem of having to fire a coach with a huge buyout. You're going to blame that AD somehow.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that neither of us thought that Marcus Freeman was a potential for one of these jobs.
He seems like Notre Dame. I don't know why.
He seems like a lifer.
I always felt Brian Kelly was going to be
No
a
way.
lifer.
I always thought he was just going to follow the money. Brian Kelly did it when he was in Cincinnati, and he's just always...
But Notre Dame, you get that. I've never been friends with anyone that's been a Notre Dame fan. There's just
What
something
about Kurt Emery?
Yeah, once again.
You're friends with Kurt Emery, don't lie. Kurt Emery getting a shout-out on episode 1. Get him, Kurt.
I hope he's even still alive.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Just over-under on his... being breathing still?
I haven't heard from him in...
I mean, he goes. That's what he does. Yeah. I couldn't count on 2 hands how many people 15 years ago that I hung out with a lot that I just don't talk to anymore.
That's true.
That's getting old, Semco. You know what else is getting old for me? Bills and Chiefs, the dichotomy of regular season games and the freaking playoff games.
You know Patrick Mahomes is going to go into Buffalo and win that playoff
Just
game.
punch him in the face.
Just right in the face.
The Bills Mafia, they're like, we beat the Chiefs. Yeah, you do this every year. You beat them in the regular. I think I look back for the last 5 years when they've played each other. How many times of those 5 regular season games have the Bills won?
All of them.
5. All 5. They have, in that same 5-year span, they have faced each other in the playoffs 4 times. How did those outcomes go? Every last one of those.
Lost every single one.
Every single one of the Chiefs. Doesn't matter where it's at. Doesn't matter if it's in Buffalo. It doesn't matter if it's in Arrowhead. You can have this one when you're, roughhousing with your kids or something like that. And you're like, all right, I'm going to let you win that game. And then when it's time to go, you go.
I think this year's different.
Oh, my God.
I really do.
Why would you think that it's going to be any different? You think they're going to exorcise the demons?
One, I am quasi-rooting for that. I always like it when I see the team beat the team that's been like...
Whoa. What happened to all this dynasty and legacy and all this stuff and greatness, watching greatness, and now all of a sudden you're just changing your mind?
There's a difference between what the heart wants and what the brain wants.
Yes.
The heart does want to see the Chiefs.
Your heart wants to see the Chiefs, but your brain...
The brain is just like, there's just something off with the Chiefs. If I'm being honest, I think this mini dynasty is over. I think it's... Already it has played out just like Tom Brady and the Patriots, and it's going to play out, I think, the same exact way. Patrick Mahomes, the only difference is Mahomes is going to lose his coach. Reed can't coach forever. Yeah. He's not going to coach as long as Brady was with Belichick. So that's going to be a big deal. I don't think that Chiefs defense, we've talked before, Chris Jones is getting older. I don't know if they're going to make those plays in the playoffs like they always seemingly did. The offense just doesn't seem to click like it used to. It just seems like Mahomes has to scramble and make something out of nothing. More times than not, I see Kelsey dropping passes. I see Mahomes missing passes. I see the defense not stopping a guy on a key 3rd or 4th down play. I think this little dynasty is over, and I think Mahomes is going to have to retool with new players because Kelsey's going to be gone, Jones is going to be gone. And it might be 5, 6, 7 more years when he gets new players in that they maybe go on another run.
Yeah, you see, again, here we go disagreeing again. It's like, I disagree. I think for them it's next man up because people had the same thought when Tyreek left. And they won without Tyreek. They can win without Kelsey.
I mean, the Patriots got close. They still had... they had probably one of the greatest offenses in NFL history and still didn't win. I'm not saying they won't be competitive. And that's tough to call. They might find guys and get guys to work, but I think this NFL Super Bowl era with him is done.
I disagree on the whole coaching mindset because Andy Reid's what? I just looked it up. He's 67. Pete Carroll's 74. He's still freaking coaching. Now he's not coaching at a high level, but he's still coaching. I think Andy Reid is one of those guys that he's going to keep coaching. Because what is he going to do when he stops?
I think he said, though, because people keep asking him.
What, is he going to go visit his son in prison? Ooh, that was a little rough. Whoa. I'm sorry. That came out a little hot. But it's not
You're not wrong.
Untruth, right? But I think he's one of those guys that he's going to coach until he can't read that Waffle House menu of a playbook that he has. As long as he can still do that, you're going to have a walrus out on the sidelines just doing what he does. And I also think that from a coaching standpoint, yes, you've got the Chris Joneses that are on the back 9 of his career. Great. But you also have the McDuffies. You got the Karlaftis, who's really come into his own this year. And Spagnuolo, I feel, is probably arguably the best defensive coordinator in the league right now. The way that he can construct a defensive scheme and just know the perfect time to blitz the crap out of a quarterback in the most defining of moments, and how The offensive coordinator doesn't see it coming. I don't know how. It's like he lulls them to sleep, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm bringing the house. He does it in those moments. I think that those two, and Spagnuolo, he could probably get another head coaching job if he wanted to, but he's like,
stupid too.
I'm content. I'm very good at what I do. I love coaching with Andy Reid. I don't see it ending here. And again, even if Kelsey goes, it's like you've seen Rashee Rice at his peak. As long as he doesn't keep going 200 down a freaking Houston highway, he's going to be an all-pro for the next 10 years.
Hey, there's a big difference between getting in the playoffs and getting over the hump.
But and again, I think that one of the things that will get him past that point is the best quarterback in the league. And I'm sorry, but Mahomes is, until proven otherwise to me, the best quarterback in the league.
I don't see the same quarterback I saw 3 or 4 years ago. It's just not a guarantee anymore that he drives that team down there. He looks lost sometimes in that system. I love Patrick Mahomes. I would just like for him to take a 5-step drop and sling it. I don't know how much longer this ducking, bobbing, dodging, weaving. First of all, he's going to get hurt at some point then.
I don't know how he hasn't yet.
He had that. I mean, he's gotten so close to serious injuries. But it's just, at some point, this offense, it has to come together and actually feel like you can move the ball fairly easily down the field. I mean, those playoffs, when they just took it to the Texans in that AFC Championship game, it couldn't have looked any easier. Painful to watch. It's a 3rd and 7, and Mahomes has to escape and throw it behind his back to some guy.
But he does
and picks up 8 yards.
But he does it.
You cannot continue to succeed with that. Here's probably the hot take of the podcast.
Ooh.
Joe Flacco would run that offense better than Patrick Mahomes.
Your
right
love
now.
for Joe Flacco.
The guy threw for almost 500 yards. I know he's got Chase and Higgins, but the guy can just 5 steps and sling it and know where he wants to go. These newer age quarterbacks can't do it.
If that's the
case, they don't do it. Why not?
No, you are diminishing having 2 number 1 wide receivers on that team. If he's that great, why didn't he do it in Cleveland? Why didn't he stick with the Colts?
He had a really good season with Cleveland.
This year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago when he came in as a backup halfway through?
Look, all I'm saying is there's a difference between when some of these quarterbacks can take a 5-step drop, plant their foot, and know where they want to go with the ball, and some of these quarterbacks just take the 5 steps and are like, I guess I'm going to run around and do something.
Well, Joe Flacco comes from a time where, and I think this is probably where you're going, being able to dissect the defense.
Correct.
And he's one of those guys that he can get through his steps and his first read, second read, third read, fourth read, there, go. Whereas a lot of the new quarterbacks, and again, it's the new guard compared to the old guard. The new guard, it's just and I guess this is a fatal flaw, if you want to put it this way, or maybe not a fatal flaw, but it's something that you have to be concerned about with the trending of these highly drafted quarterbacks and their mobility, is that can be a crutch for them. And instead of going through their reads, they're like 1 read, 2 read, go, run. And they're like, because I can. And it's part of my game is my mobility. There is something to be said about being able to, you have 5 reads 99 out of 100 of the times, one of those is going to be open. You just have to get there. A lot of maybe it's just these kids these days, they're so impatient. They want that instant gratification and they won't go through their reads.
Social media has doomed something else in our society.
Yeah, quarterback
play.
Yeah.
Bless.
They want to do those Vines. You remember Vines? No. Now I feel a little bit saying that, but TikToks, they're like, I want that instant gratification. And, and the same thing, they don't go through their reads. They get what they're wanting. I'm going to run. Just keep going.
I think it's gone too far. I think it started off with you wanted to have a quarterback who, if they needed to run and it was their last resort, you could have run, right? So, yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning. But typically, yes, it'd be nice to have, I'm going old school, like Steve Young, the Aaron Rodgers even. Even Big Ben, when he first came into the league, could actually move. You don't want a statue back there. They actually look to pass the ball first. Whereas now, yeah, when it comes time to crunch time, if you can't get out and run, who are you going to throw it to? I think it's gotten too far into we look at who can these fastest, most elusive quarterbacks be? I really don't care how they throw. We can maybe teach them to throw, but they got to be really fast. I think it's, not to get way off topic, but I think it's kind of like the big threes in basketball, where you kind of started off with 3 guys that kind of could gel together, and you just ended up getting who are the 3 biggest names that we can get and put them on a court and hope that it works. I think the quarterback play now, Anthony Richardson, that I think was the pinnacle of this. Guy could not throw
But they knew that. They knew that coming out of the draft.
But you can't go and grab some guy like that because he's got athleticism out the roof. This is the NFL. The windows are so small.
Listen, it might be revisionist history, but Anthony Richardson, a lot of people question that pick. A lot of people were like, I don't know if that was a good pick at all. Some people saw the potential because of his athleticism, but there were a lot of questions that went through it.
There were, but not enough.
I personally think you're being an old curmudgeon. You're being an old fogey that's like, I remember the days of Peyton Manning. He's throwing for 500 yards every Sunday. And then I went home and I watched the Google.
I watched the 60 Minutes before I went to bed.
To Catch a Predator, back when that was around. I think that this is the new modernization. I do miss the quarterback that can like sit in the pocket, read the pocket. I mean, and Mahomes kind of does that. You say that he danced around, but his pocket awareness is just through the roof. And I can't stand the guy. I can't stand Mahomes. Main reason for that, and I'm getting off on a tangent, but I can't help but say it, but it's like I hate how he does his damnedest to try and draw fouls, like when he runs out of bounds or like he slides to that second and he demonstratively is like, oh, I can't believe he hit me. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like you're purposely trying to goat these people into 15 yards, and it's just a sleazy way of doing it. Just do it out of your aptitude. But it's like I think it's kind of cleaned up. But I will say this about him is the way that he knows where the pressure's coming from. And you're just like, how does he keep escaping? It's because that's just who he is. And he does go through his reads. And there are other mobile quarterbacks that go through leads. But again, the mobility of the quarterback, that is here to stay. I don't see that changing. And I don't see that offensive coordinators being like, I want to go back to the days of 5 steps back and like just finding my read.
Drake May, as much as I think they're not going to be good this year, Drake May is the type of quarterback you need to have. He has the best deep ball, throws it deep, will run when he has to. That's the kind of quarterback you need to go find.
Yeah.
I want a guy that's going to sit back and try to throw the ball and actually go through reads and then take off if needed. Then I'm going to sit back. The one guy that the play is for, that the first guy, if it's not open, I'm going to look to scramble out of here and make something happen.
You know who your favorite quarterback is right now because you love statues? It's Jared Goff. Because he's got all that talent around here. You know he's not running the ball.
No. But the guy can sling it. The guy knows his offense. And that would be part of it too. We could get even deeper. If you actually have a guy that can sit in a playbook for a couple of years and knows the offense like the back of his hand.
Like Kyler Murray. Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
I mean, it's in his contract. He has to read it now because it's in his contract.
He probably still isn't.
They're like, did you read page 5? Yeah, I read page 5.
There was no page 5. The old Jamarcus Russell.
There was a $100 bill at the end of the playbook type bit. Yeah, I remember that. That's from a movie, Draft Day. Kevin Costner, terrible actor.
Great movie, though.
I don't know. I didn't even watch it.
Well, Brandon, I think we're about at the end of our very first episode.
Say it ain't so.
We can't go on forever.
I mean, all good things must come to an end. You know, for our listeners, please don't lose hope. We'll be back.
We will be back. We'll have more content. We'll have some more stories. We might even get into some different stuff. You never know. That's kind of what this journey of this podcast is going to be about. And I'm excited to see where it takes us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's another episode of Undrafted and Overconfident. Thanks for hanging with us. 2 friends who've been arguing about sports for 20 years and still can't agree on most things. Hit that follow button, drop us a rating, email us at undraftedandoverconfident@gmail.com, and we'll see you in a week. Some takes, different nonsense. Bye, y'all.
Peace.